of production. We dealt with scarcity. I said that land, labor, capital, trade-off, opportunity, cost, just concepts that we're going to kind of talk about a lot as we go through certain concepts or the rest of the chapters. There are three questions that are going to kind of drive the rest of our conversation, or at least if we get stuck someplace, we can come back to them, and they'll help us understand what we're dealing with. So the first question is what to produce. So economically speaking, what do I want to make? What goods and services should be produced? The second question, how to produce. How am I going to make this? And the third question, for whom to produce, or very generically, who are my customers? And these help us narrow down what we're talking about. But the other thing to keep in mind is these economic questions, and you saw them in your definition. They were referring to the three economic questions in a command system, yada, 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 helps you determine how to answer these three questions. These are the questions you're talking about. The thing about this is you guys have already asked these questions several times in your lifetime, I'm sure. You also answered these questions when you guys were sophomores, and you were posed with the question of, what do I want to keep on doing here? So if we're looking at sophomore year, you're in class, you've done sophomore visitation, you have now been told about coming here and applying an application night, and this question has then gone through your head, or a variation of this one. What do I want to do? Right? Do I want to stay at my home school for 2 more years? Right? Do I want to produce a classroom setting for the entire school day and sit in this room, study hall maybe, lunch maybe one elective that I might want to do, do I want to do that? What do I want to do? Or do I want to try this new school that's trying to get me to come check them out, right? Then, after that, you may have decided to come here, and then you saw it followed up with, well, how am I going to do this? All right, so yes, I'm going to go there, but how do I want to finish out my last 2 years? Do I want to do it in cosmetology? Do I want to do it in visual media? Do I want to do it in business, marketing, technology? And then for this one, who are you serving when you are making those two decisions? Who is your customer? Yourself, right? Because you still want to get the graduate, you want to get your credits, you want to get that training, you want to get the experience, right? So these questions you've already asked. Same thing when you guys are looking for jobs. What do I want to do? I'll go work there. How do I want to do this? As long as they don't make me do that job, and if they do keep on making you do that job, what do you end up doing? Oh, go someplace else. Right? But when we deal with this for what we're looking at different economies. Right? So the first one is a traditional economy. And this one is very much how it sounds. It's based off of traditions. And if you look at a lot of what we do and how we do certain things, it's traditional. Some of the traditions have become law. Here's one I was thinking about first period. I didn't even realize it until today. I was talking to them and I said, what side of the road do we drive on?
The left side.
The right side. If you're the left side, well, they're in a different country. But if you think about it, the right side has become just a tradition that we've made into a law. Mm. If you think about it, because I can go to a different country and their tradition is the left side of the road. And that's their laws are created on that. So it's just one of those. And then there's other places where you go where there's really, as long as you get by. Has anyone ever by any chance seen any of the videos of traffic in India?
Yes.
And where it's just like, all right, go.
Just, every man for himself.
Yeah, good luck. Make sure. And then typically Russia's another one too. There's India, Russia, China, a couple other countries where you see all those videos of car crashes. Almost all of them are like Russia. Like Russia.
Russia could care less about it.
Yeah.
As long as you follow some of the laws.
Yeah. It's okay.
As long as you vote for Putin.
Oh, there you go. There's another one.
Sort of follow Putin.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Now the other thing too is we have traditions like who in here has family that has in the past or sometimes maybe currently goes to church on Sundays. That's tradition. Right? There's no laws making you do that. Does anybody have any family holiday traditions that they do? Which one of yours?
For our birthdays, we get strawberry shortcake pancakes.
Oh, really? That's a fun one. I like that one. Yeah.
We do Thanksgiving always.
We get Thanksgiving what?
We always do Thanksgiving. We'll always do Christmas Eve.
Gotcha.
So 2
Okay.
days before Christmas,
Okay.
we'll always
Nice.
have the
Now,
whole family together.
Thanksgiving, is it a traditional? See,
We always do.
turkey, mashed potatoes. Like, if you think about it, those are like, you could do something different if you really wanted to. Does anybody do something different for Thanksgiving? What do you guys do?
We normally do like both the turkey, but then we have like the ham
Okay.
because they do all the meats.
Okay. All right.
On Christmas, we hide a Christmas pickle in the
Oh,
tree.
the pickle!
Yes, and,
Who else has the pickle?
Yeah.
Okay, for those who are wondering, it's not an actual pickle.
It's
It's an ornament. Now, do you guys? How do you guys do the pickle for you guys?
So my parents will hide the pickle in the tree at night. And like when I was little, I would look for it, but my sister, I let her find the pickle. You just look for the pickle for the
And
friends.
what do you win?
We usually won like $5.
Really? Okay. Who in here gets to, like, open the gift first? That's yeah. What version do you guys do?
We did the same thing.
Same one?
Or whoever found it gets to hide it next year.
Oh, okay. Does anybody do? You get to open the gifts first, or you get an extra gift? I've heard of those. Anybody else other traditions? I saw some of their hands up when I was.
We have that stupid elf thing.
Oh,
Elf.
yeah. That's a new one. That's like maybe the past 10 years, 15 years. Because it wasn't when I was little. Yeah.
I mean, I have my own tradition. I don't eat Thanksgiving food. I don't eat like turkey and ham. I don't
Okay.
eat that.
So what you just
Pizza.
pizza? That's awesome. Frozen, or do you like have it delivered?
It depends.
Yeah, right.
So for Easter, Christmas, and Thanksgiving, we'll make the exact same food at like my aunt's.
You sound so excited about it.
It's so fun.
It's like something to look forward to. The same thing every
It's,
year.
it's 2 turkeys, 2 hams, 10 pounds of mashed potatoes.
Oh, mashed potatoes I can get on board with.
Dude,
and
that's
20
at my
pounds of
grandma's
turkey.
house.
It's
Kind
like
of a
so much
tradition.
food.
Yes.
Christmas Eve pizza?
Pizzas, yeah.
Okay, that's what my dad has this thing. He's gotten better at it, although some people don't want him to. Like my mom will make this full, huge meal, even Thanksgiving meals, and then usually about an hour or two after we're done, he's like, "All right, what do you guys want your pizza?" That's like our family joke. So yeah,
Elephant parties.
what?
An elephant party, like with gag gifts and then.
Oh yes, elephant. Yeah, and then but then people like, excuse my phraseology, bastardize it because there's white elephant where it's supposed to be funny, and you're supposed to be like, and then there's other versions where it's like you take one and you pass it to somebody else and they get to take yours. And
Oh yeah, we do that, but like you have to roll the dice and you can get 7-Eleven, you like switch.
okay, yeah.
Me and my friends made a tradition to do a gift exchange every year.
Oh, that's good. That's a nice one. I like that one. Yeah.
My family throw it instead just a holiday of on the last Sunday of every month. The entire family plus the closest friends of the family all get together.
Really, you just hang out?
Yeah, big dinner and just hang around.
I like that one. Every Sunday?
Huh?
Every last Sunday?
Yeah, the last Sunday.
At
of
what
every
time
month.
should I be there?
5 o'clock.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I have your address. I'll be
Do
there.
Do white elephants, but the way to get the gifts is you have to play board games to win them.
Oh,
So
okay.
the entire day we play board games all day.
That's fun. Board games are underrated. I
They
think
are.
family board games are fun. That's like apples to apples is a good one.
That's more of a card game.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
Monopoly.
Mr. Howard, do family political arguments on holidays count as a tradition?
They sometimes do. Sometimes without even trying. All right. So the other two that are less exciting is traditional. Market economics. Right. So market economics is. Has anybody ever been to a garage sale?
Yeah.
That'd be almost a perfect example of a market situation. No governments, just haggling. You and me figuring out what the cost is going to be.
I love you.
Yeah. If you go to, has anybody had Mrs. Lally in here? Mrs. Lally, Jamaica. You bring those two things up, Jamaica and haggling, and she's all about it. Because Jamaica is a lot of those Caribbean nations. That's what they do. Like you go to the ports, you go haggle. She was telling me that she actually there was a person that they set a price, and she was like, okay, and they were actually a little offended. Like, no, we're supposed to have some sort of discourse here. Let's haggle. But that's a perfect example of mixed. And keep in mind too, market economics doesn't have to necessarily be a financial thing. Has anybody ever negotiated with brothers, sisters?
Yeah.
Or like,
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
do this
all the
if you do this, right? I did have someone a couple years ago was telling me that they negotiated a grounding with their parents, which I thought was quite impressive. So they were supposed to be grounded like the weekend of like a dance, and they negotiated that they wouldn't be grounded that weekend, but they would give up the following 2 weekends in exchange for the dance weekend.
What a guy.
It's a good thing I don't want kids.
But that's a market, right? Some sort of agreement. Command system is exactly what it sounds like. You will do this, you will do that, you will do this, you will do this. In reality, and this is actually a question, you're going to see this question. In reality, the only one that truly exists are mixed economic systems. Right? Because if you think about the U.S., do we have traditions we just joked around about for a while? Right? Do we have market situations where we're going out and buying random things and shopping and looking around? Yeah. And then do we have command systems? Yes, most definitely. Right? You guys are living in one right now. This very, very second. By law, you need to be in school to the age of 18, or your parents can emancipate you and sign out and let you go at 16. Right? But even that, there's a rule involved with that. Right? So yeah, we live in a mixed system. So in reality, the only one that actually exists is a mixed economic system. Because if you look at like even North Korea, very, 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 very much in a command system, dictatorship, to the point where he is perceived as a god almost, godlike figure. So that when he says at one point, I'm not sure if I found the pictures, at one point Kim Jong-un, the current leader of North Korea, mandated there was only 11 haircuts the boys could get. Nice. And the girls were limited to like 15 or 16 different variations of haircuts.
And his haircut wasn't one of them.
His haircut was not one of them. That was the funny part too. Partly because he wanted to be unique, so no one could have his haircut. When I show you a picture of him, no one would have ever wanted that haircut. But he's a little bit egocentric. Yeah.
Isn't it also that like you also had to have a picture of him in your house?
There, I believe there is some truth to that. Yes.
Yeah, and then
because he is like a deity. Yeah.
Yeah, and if there's a fire, you leave everything else, but take his
the picture. I can see that. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know where.
there's a couple things we'll talk about more when we get to North Korea, because we'll talk about North Korea in a little bit when we talk about command systems. Yeah, they're really, really messed up. Matter of fact, there was an interview with someone that escaped from North Korea, and it was Anderson Cooper on CNN. He was interviewing the guy, and he asked him, "So when you think of freedom, and you know, what's something you think about with freedom?" And the guy was like, "Chicken." And Anderson Cooper said, "Wait, so I ask you about freedom and you say chicken?" He's like, "Well, I was in a prison camp my entire life and they gave me this type of food and this is all I ate all the time, 100% of the time. So when I got out, I didn't realize how many variations of chicken there were." He's like, "Because I was always given this type of chicken. It was boiled chicken." He's like, "So if you can grill it and bake it and put stuff in it and all these different variations and just put sauce on it." So he's like, chicken. My sister-in-law actually is from Russia, born and raised. And so I was talking to her. She didn't really allude to it as freedom, but I said, "What's the one thing that you really enjoy now because you were born in like a communist country?" And she said, "Shoes." Because when she was younger, she was given a pair of shoes that was supposed to last for the full year, and if it didn't fit, then she would get her sister's old ones because her sister was older, and then maybe a second pair if her first pair and her sister's pair wore out. So if you go and look in my sister-in-law's closet, she's got like one whole section that's just shoes, because she gets to pick and choose and have fun with all the different variations. All right, couple things in regards to society and its goals. So every society, regardless of traditional, market, or mixed, has things they want to take care of. One of them is efficiency. Whether you're a command system or a market system or traditional, we want to be efficient. I want to do things that we're good at, right? So if I'm in Florida, do I want to grow apples? It's not really an apple area, right? There are other places that might produce apples better. Wine is a big, huge California, right? Those mountains are some of the best wine over there. New Zealand, Australia. There are certain places that make wine well, right? Can we make wine in Ohio? Of course you can make wine in Ohio. Are we known for our wine? Some places have some decent wine, but we're not known. People don't like, people in like California go, oh, is this from the Cuyahoga Valley? Ooh, is it a 1970? Oh, no, not really.
I think the only place notable in Ohio for wine is Clinton Bay.
Yeah, but they put stuff in that wine. Yeah, it's called beer. All right, freedoms. A lot of societies look for variation of freedom. This is a different one too, because our freedoms might be different than other freedoms. Like if you're in Iran, their freedoms are different than the freedoms we have. For a woman to be able to just take off her headdress, that's a freedom that we're different than in the U.S. Right? You would never think that you'd be mandated to wear those things. Yeah.
Did you mean Iran or did you say Iran? Like
Iran?
Iran?
No, I didn't. I rarely do that. I try to stay away from that. It hurts my knees.
What?
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you got that bit slow.
Yeah. Well, us in Northeast Ohio, Iran.
Okay, it's the second Monday, okay.
Second Monday.
So it's officially Iraq and Iran.
I like Iran better.
I know. We, like I said, Northeast Ohio, we like Iraq and Iran. Anyways, security. Now this is one too. I just made this up this morning. I was quite proud of myself. There's a safety net and there's a safety hammock. Safety net is there to help you just in case. Safety hammock are the people who like to stay there. They don't like to get out of it. They just want to relax and stay in that little. Right. So we do actually in our society we actually a decent amount of that. Right. So you have your Medicare, your Medicaid, welfare, unemployment, Affordable Care Act. So we have the Obamacare. For those who didn't know, that's the official name of it. So there's other things that we have. Equity. This is becoming the hot topic recently. Equity in regards to output or equality getting into something. Our country is, like you hear about all the different debates, making sure that women are equally represented. Men have typically had more control of certain areas, more women getting involved, more black women, more black men, more Latin men, Latin women. I mean, trying to make sure it's fair. That becomes its own issue in and of itself. But regardless, some societies really focus on it, some don't. Now, this next one is a little bit more on the fun side. So we look at growth or innovation. This is huge because we are constantly trying to make things bigger and better, faster, cleaner, more efficient. Right? So if the internet's not working, because I was told on Friday it was a little slow certain times, and by slow I mean like 10, 20 seconds delay, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so slow. When actually it's only 10 or 20 seconds, and you're like, but when you're looking to do things, to get things done, move faster, it's really, really annoying. The other thing that goes along with that is standard of living will always increase, and you'll see the reference to SOL. It's not the other. It doesn't stand for leap out of luck, but SOL, standard of living. When we're talking about economics, but for this one, this will always go up. So here, let me know. See if you guys can figure out what my minimum wage was when I was your age. What was my minimum wage when I was your age?
$5.75.
Too high.
I feel like it was $3.
Too low.
$4.40.
Too high.
$4.25.
Too high.
$4.
You were the closest so far.
$3.75.
That was even closer.
$3.50.
$3.90. $3.90 is my minimum wage. And now you guys have literally flipped those numbers around. It's $9.30 an hour. That's crazy, right? So, but that's partly because there's more technology, there's more stuff, there's more people. Inflation has gone up over the years, right? So inflation is part of this. So it's always good. I actually found a Sears and Roebuck, big, huge, I can't think of that, like an advertisement. catalog. Thank you very much. And in there they had a 3-piece suit tailored from 1905. You want to give a guess? Tailored 3-piece suits, which means someone's gonna literally like
Oh
$52.
too high,
25 bucks.
too low, $10 for the sake of time. $10. Anybody want to give a guess how much one of those would cost nowadays?
1,000.
Keep going.
2,500.
1,500.
Men's Warehouse, 1,500, 1,600. If we're looking at like a really, really nice name brand, probably around 3,000.
No.
Plus the shoes and the belt.
All right, we'll pick up from here tomorrow.